quickly introduce yourself on the chat. Let me know your name, city that you're joining us from. My name is Aparna. I'm going to be your host for today. We've got a very exciting session coming up. And we've got Mallika who will be taking you through the session. But before that, let us know where you're from, where you're joining us from. Sarabjeet, hi. Rachel, hi. Rahul, good evening to you. Ashish, Christina, Rubina, Esther, Ramkishan, okay. Parijat, right. Janaka, Rudra, okay. Someone from Brazil, nice to have you. Dinesh, someone from the US. Nikita from Austin. We're also live on YouTube, so in case you're watching us from there, please leave your introductions very quickly. Peter is from Northern California. Okay, Donna is from California. A lot of you sending in your introductions. Keep them coming. Yes. Okay. Tushti from Rajasthan. Okay. Rupa, someone from Maryland. Okay, a lot of people from different parts of the world. Okay, great. Yeah, so we still have people joining in, but let me just set the context for today. We all know why we're here, right? You must be really excited to understand how recommendation systems work, how you recommended those amazing movies on Netflix, or let's say you're listening to music on Spotify or YouTube Music. How does the recommendation happen? You might have had that curiosity. Today, we're just going to debunk that. We're also going to help you understand how a recommendation system is built. Now, this is going to involve some sort of, some sort of Python is obviously involved. We'll not get into the depth of it, but we'll help you understand how, on the core, how it works and how it's built. And yes, of course, we'll be sharing the data set and of course the source code as well. Yeah, so that's how the session is going to go. Now, before we show you how a recommendation system is built, we'll help you understand what are recommendation systems firstly, where are they exactly used, how is clustering used, where else is it used apart from building movie recommendations, and we'll help you understand how you can build your own recommendation systems as well, and how our Microsoft AI Engineer program helps there. We also talk about the enrollment steps. We've got a really packed and an insightful session coming up today. So you guys have to maybe grab pen and paper if you guys want to take notes. But remember that the session is being recorded. So in case you, kind of leave the session in between or have something else to address, you will receive the recording tomorrow, right? And we'll also provide whatever I said, along with the data set and the code will be given to you in that email that we send. Yeah. So the session is going to be about 1.5 hours long, which is 10:30 p.m. India time, right? Another 90 minutes from now is when we were thinking we'll wrap up the session. Okay. You can head to the YouTube channel to find the YouTube link, Dinesh. And if you're watching us on YouTube, great to see your introductions. Remember, you guys may have questions to ask if they are related to what is being discussed. I will interrupt and stop Mallika and then ask her to take these questions. But let's say, they're related to career transitions or anything else, I will make sure that they're addressed towards the end. Right now, also towards the end, there's something exciting coming up, and it's related to the course. I will not really reveal too much. And there's also one more surprise that I haven't really introduced to a lot of learners in our previous webinars, but this is going to be one of the few webinars where I'll introduce something to you. So that'll also happen towards the end, right? So make sure you wait till the end to understand what these giveaways really are, right? And this is apart from the recording and the code that I mentioned, Okay, it's not that, right? So let's quickly get started. You've all given your introductions. I've given mine as well. So it's time to introduce Simplilearn and also Mallika, right? So let me just quickly introduce Simplilearn to you. Simplilearn offers skills in multiple domains, AI and machine learning being just one of them. We've got courses, certifications in cloud computing, in data science, also in project management, agile and scrum, cybersecurity. So in case you're looking to transition in any of these domains, you should definitely check out our courses. And what we're really proud of is actually that all of our courses, all of our top courses have GenAI components included. Now, the one that we're going to discuss today, which is the Microsoft AI Engineer program, also has how you also has an understanding of how you can use Copilot, also provides you an understanding of how agentic AI solutions work, right? So that's how our courses make sure that we offer you everything that's latest and in trend and in demand in the industry, right? So you can head to simplylearn.com and check out these courses. We've got learners from more than 150 countries, and we've touched more than 8 million careers worldwide, right? So the proof to that is also the audience that we have here, right? So just to understand you guys a little better, what I would like to do is to launch a quick poll to let us know your professional background. Now, this will help Mallika judge the audience as well, because like I said, it can get a little technical here and there, so it'll help for us to understand what your current job role is. Okay, so just choose the appropriate options and let us know how much work experience you carry. Rubina, glad to see that you completed the PGP in cloud computing. Glad to see that you found useful, and also nice to see you in this webinar, right? Everyone else on YouTube, please leave your responses on the live chat, and people on Zoom, just keep using the poll. And remember, there are going to be a lot of these poll questions coming up throughout the session. Mihir, whatever is the latest, okay? Anything that's, whatever you do right now, basically, is what we would like to know. Just to gauge our audience, to know how much understanding they may have of what we're going to teach, right? Yeah. Yeah, all right. Great. So remember, I'm going to keep the poll live only for a minute or so. So I'm just going to end the poll right here. And I'm sharing these results so that all of you guys are able to see as well. And great. Thank you so much. Mallika, I hope you're able to see these results. More than half of them are actually, a part of tech, data, and product roles. And yeah, about a half of them are still freshers. Some of them have, a lot of experience as well. Okay, great to see that. Right. So before we even start and I introduce Mallika to you, I would like to just understand how you guys, how come you guys registered for this webinar? What came to your mind when you actually thought you would be a part of the session? Were you curious to understand how movie recommendations are built? Just a quick yes or no will help. Yeah. Were you also curious? Yes. Yeah. So next time when you probably head to Netflix or say YouTube or any other, video streaming or a music platform, you will understand how it works, right? Yeah. Yes. Okay. Amazing. So remember what I said? Great. Recommendation engine basics, you wanted to learn that. You are new to technology and that's how you found this session useful. Okay, great. Absolutely. So you will receive a certificate as well once you finish the session. Remember, all of these giveaways, everything that I've mentioned, I'll talk about towards the end. Now let's quickly jump into the session and introduce Mallika to you. I don't want to waste any more time because we've got an exciting session coming up. So Mallika is actually a seasoned data scientist and a machine learning educator. She's helped a lot of learners who come from varied backgrounds, just like what we have today, right? And she's really passionate about simplifying complex topics, the ones that are really technical, to people who don't come from technical background as well. She's also one of our trainers at Simplilearn. She specializes in machine learning, deep learning, and also applied AI, right? So you will know from the way she teaches that you will also be, you look forward to seeing her in one of the cohorts that she takes as well. So Mallika, welcome to the session. You can also switch on your video.
Thank you. Thank you, Aparna. Am I audible and visible to everyone?
Yes, yes. You can introduce yourself and then maybe we'll jump right in.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. So, I'm Mallika Gandhi, and I've been associated with Simplilearn for a very long time. And I have a 16 plus years of experience in training data science, AI, courses to professionals, to experienced learners, to freshers, and and giving trainings overall in online as well as offline mode. And today I'm here. Today I'll be, as I can see, the learners or the backgrounds are from different variety, and today we are all here to understand how the Netflix system works, right?
Right.
Are we
Yeah.
all set to go?
Yes, I think we're all set to go. Before I think you start sharing your screen and showing the magic, maybe we should understand how recommendation systems actually work. Maybe you could explain that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, the word recommendation, if we talk about recommendation, simple English language, what do we understand that? That recommending things or, other items to someone. So, first of all, we need to understand, whenever we are now scrolling any kind of website, e-commerce website, we always see those, recommendations coming again to us. Have we all observed this all in our daily experience, whether we are scrolling any kind of, movies or any kind of e-commerce thing or any kind of, food or groceries, it could be any item. And those recommendations keep on coming to us, right? Of course, you would say it's part of the sales and the marketing strategy, but there is a deep down meaning behind it, The technical term associated with that is choice overload. Now, we are living in a digital world, right? And overall, we see these huge amount of data whenever we want to even, buy a small product like shampoo or, watch a movie of anything, there is plethora of, items available to us. So recommendation systems make our life easier, as it says that they personalize our experience depending on our choice, what we prefer, boost our user engagement, and of course the end of the day the game is to directly impact the revenue. So now every time we are on Netflix or shop on Amazon or scroll through Spotify, we are interacting with recommendation system. I don't think so there is anyone today left who has not experienced this or is not going through the whole magic, right? Absolutely. Through social media also. Absolutely.
Right, got it. Yeah, so someone had a question on social media as well. So basically social media also works, you're saying, on the same principle, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So what are the types of recommendation system and what are we picking today, Mallika?
Right. So, now recommending, things, or especially when we're talking about movies in our case today. So, Netflix, there is a lot of, movies which are there, which can be action, romantic, drama, thriller. We have a variety of that. And another major which problem, these system face is technically known as the cold start problem. Now, what does the cold start problem refer to? That when, you are a new user, the system doesn't know you, what you like and what you don't like, right? So then, content-based filtering, which suggests items similar to what we have liked before on the attributes. Then the content-based filtering comes into the picture. So we will be saying, I'll be taking up an example and watching content-based filtering and collaborative filtering. That is, how different users, what I like and maybe the other users like, then the item can be suggested to the other users also. And there is third kind of, approach also, that's clustering based approach, unsupervised learning, part of machine learning that groups similar users of items, use these clusters to make recommendations today. So today our focus is more going to be on content based as well as collaborative filtering, right?
Right, got it, got it. So one question that has come from Dipender, Malika, is so this you may also like section that comes on Amazon or
Mhm.
any other e-commerce site. So what approach do they follow? Do they also follow? I mean, which of these recommendation systems do they have?
See, at the end of the day, we are just talking about the initial. There are many more deeper methods, that now companies are analyzing. Of course, at the end of the day, it's recommendation engines,
Hmm.
but it could be even more deeper than, these technicalities as if involving, deep learning methods. So
Hmm.
definitely recommendation systems, but it could be at a little more deeper level, more level at the technical level also.
Okay, got it. All right, all right. Yeah, definitely looking forward, Deepinder. We're just going to quickly just explain a few more things to you. Why do we really use clustering for recommendation? What do you think, works behind clustering?
The basic idea about unsupervised learning. Now, what does unsupervised mean in our lives? There is no supervision of us, and there is no supervision in terms of learning. That means there is no teacher who's going to take our test, or who's hit on you or is going to train on you. So clustering is that kind of learning where the system learns on its own. Given the data, it learns on its own based on the similarity feature. So over here, a little bit of statistics, that's part of data science, will also get involved, that we
Mhm.
would be trying to find out the similarity between the items. And that could be, through Pearson's correlation, cosine algorithm. There are different algorithms available to us. And
Hmm.
if it is also capable of finding any hidden patterns or groupings in data, so grouping movie watchers by similar preferences. So that is the idea behind clustering, grouping similar items.
Got it. All right. And if you can just explain, how supervised learning is different from unsupervised learning.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, and I can take that up. So supervised learning is all about, under supervision, where you have a trainer, you're being trained, and after a time, a test has been taken. That's what we understand it in a normal lay language.
Right.
Exactly the same, happens when we are talking about data, that we have data. The data is split into testing and training modules. 70% of the data is for training, and
Mhm.
around 20 to 30% of the data is for testing, which is kept aside. So
Mhm.
70 to 80% of the data is trained on the model and then checked. And then finally we see, are we getting the correct results for the testing data or not. So that's the difference between supervised learning and in unsupervised learning. There is no outcome, there is no label outcome. The system learns on its own.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So basically, just to understand the real world analogy, let's say someone loves thrillers and someone loves rom-coms, and maybe if I haven't watched many movies yet on that platform, and if
Mhm.
I see that, if the platform sees that, okay, my preferences are group B, so maybe they'll recommend more rom-coms to me. Or let's say if I love more thrillers, if I'm inclined to that, maybe they recommend more thriller. Is that how it works?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Depending on your preferences and your choice, the data or the movie or the items are recommended to you. Absolutely correct.
Okay, great, great, great. So Are we all clear about, how this works? Maybe if you can just give a quick yes, because after this, Mallika is just going to take over and help you guys understand how this is built. Yeah. Sanya has a question, Mallika. What does Netflix use? Does it use supervised or unsupervised learning?
See, actually, practically, the Netflix uses hybrid kind of a model where,
Mm-hmm.
the supervised, unsupervised are involved, even, content-based, collaborative filtering, clustering, So
Okay.
content-based filtering is used in the initial stage where we call it as a cold start problem. And as we
Mhm.
move further, the analysis and the insight gets deeper. And then, it's a hybrid kind of a model which it uses all of these things.
Right. All right, great. So Malika, do you want to just share your screen now and help the learners understand on top
Sure.
level how this works? I'm just going to stop sharing.
Sure,
And
Aparna.
yeah, just a quick note to all the learners who are asking questions. It's great that you're doing that. Please make sure you put it on the Q&A box because there are close to 300 of you in this session. It's going to be hard for me to keep track. So I'll try and see how many I can answer, but otherwise I'll wait for Malika to take them over towards the end. Okay? Yeah. Uh, and also, please keep your comments, questions relevant to what is being done in the session because we don't want to distract the other learners. Okay? Yeah. So the next 40 minutes is going to be just Malika explaining how this works. Please make sure you are attentive and you're asking the right questions. Yeah. Over to you, Malika.
Yeah, thank you, Aparna. Thank you so much. So, as explained, the basics of recommender system, we understand that today's industry, whether it's Netflix, Amazon, Uber, all are using recommender system to enhance user experience, to increase this sales and marketing strategy. And ultimately, who is the main hero? The user. What the user wants, based on his recommendation, his choice, we want to recommend him the correct items, right? And we have seen the types of recommender system. Basically, they're divided into content based recommender systems and collaborative filtering recommender systems. And the advanced one, as I told you, are hybrid one. But today, keeping our session very crisp, because the learners are from different background. I don't know whether how much you are familiar with Python. So please, there would be lot of things that you might not understand in technically terms, but my suggestion to everyone is to try to understand how is the result coming, how are we taking the inputs, how is the recommendation happening, right? So since most of you would be not from technical background, not from Python, so I would request everyone to take that in mind while posting the questions. All right. So now moving ahead to the first one, that we'll start with the content-based filtering. All right. Yeah, you can, Tejas, yes, you can use Google Colab if you have one, right? Now, this approach, as I told you, is used to solve the cold start problem, that initially you are not aware, that the system is not aware what you love because your first time entering, or you're becoming the user of Netflix. So the system approach item based on features of items and the user profile. What's generally preferred around, the movies, the general movies. But it's not necessary everybody likes the movie that was hit, or preferred by everyone. So, if a user liked a specific movie, the system would recommend movies with similar attributes, such as the same genre, the director, or the actors of the movie. So, if we, want to always start any kind of project or kind of machine learning, deep learning, the first very step that we always do is import the libraries. And we have always seen, Python is always a big hit, or is a big buzz around. This is the main reason that it gives such beautiful and supporting libraries which make our code very, very easier. we will be, dealing with these libraries using these functions, and you will see that the functions that these libraries support, really, really help and make our life very, very easier. So one of the very basic libraries that, Python supports is Pandas library for reading the CSV file. CSV stands for comma separated value file. Then we are going to talk about the TF-ID vectorizer for test data tokenization. Now, there is so much of text involved when we are talking about next Netflix movie or recommendation items. So the words need to be broken down. See, computer or computer algorithm doesn't understand these words. We have to convert it into tokens, right? And linear underscore kernel will be the function for similarity calculation. All right. So this is how we import technically the pandas library, and the TF-ID vectorizer comes from sklearn.feature underscore extraction dot text, and the linear kernel which is used to calculate the similarity comes from sklearn metrics dot pairwise, right? Over here, I've added the, link for the data set so that, I've taken the data set from Netflix movies and TV shows. So all this thing will be already provided to you. Accordingly, the link has already been added. So the very first step that I do is, once I have downloaded the data, that's netflix.titles.csv, I read the CSV file into a data frame, and a df.head function gives me the first 5 values of this data set. So if you have a very close look at this data set, the first column talks about the show ID, the type, whether it's a movie or a TV show, the title of that movie or the show, the director, the cast, that means telling it's all attributes, the country, the date added, the release year, rating, and the duration, the documentation. So this is how we get our Python file. Getting my point? So if we just talk about the title, what kind of, movies or, TV shows that we are talking about, Dick Johnson's is dead, Blood and Water, Ganglands, Jailbirds, New Orleans, Zodiac, and we have about 8,806, items, movie IDs associated over here. So the shape function of the data frame tells me that the number of movie ID is 8,807, and 12 refers to the number of columns or the genre associated. So if I do this df.info function of the pandas library, I get a more detailed view of my data, that they are these many entries. These are the different columns that we understand, 12 columns associated with these null values. All are non-null values, but we see that there are few missing values for director, cast, country, right? The number is not equal to 8,807. And we see that the data type of most of the columns or the features is object type. It's only the release year which is of integer data type. All right. Again, my request, if you're not able to technically understand certain terms, I just request you to understand. If the learners are able to grasp these points, well and good, right? But just try to understand how the recommendation is happening. So in the next statement, we will always need to deal with these null values. So for the description, I am filling the values with blank. So the third step is to tokenize the data. Why tokenization is important? It is a way of breaking down the text into smaller units called tokens. The token is, this example is the word. And which method are we using? The TF-ITF, which stands for term frequency inverse document frequency, which measures how relevant a word is to a document in a collection of document. So what it's trying to see is, it's trying to understand, that which kind of movie, action movies have been more preferred, romantic movies, or it's the, the comedy movies which are being more, referred. So over here, so when I do the TF-ID vectorizer and then transform it into the description, so now my description changes to, see, my rows remain the same and the columns have now increased to 18,895. Right. So the missing of the column 18,895 is the number of important words after removing the stop words. Stop words are, those words, unimportant words that we have eliminated over here. So basically, what are we trying to do over here? Please again concentrate. We are doing content-based filtering. Over here, we are trying to find out the relationship between the attributes or the genre, the type of the movie. So I think so there was a question regarding the calculate similarity. So over here, we are using the cosine similarity. This is the formula which we are using for content-based filtering. It could also be Pearson's correlation method also. And in further, we will be also using the KNN method also, completely dependent on you. So to compute the cosine similarity between each movie, Python provides us this, inbuilt method linear.kernel in which we pass the matrix and find this, we get this array output. Some might not be able to understand, but it's a matrix which gives the relationship between the different movies. Getting my point, learners? Right? Right. Now moving ahead to finally, we have created a matrix which with the similarity, array, right? What is the similarity features? Now, based on this particular matrix, the cosine similarity, we will be able to recommend movies with the different attributes. Getting my point? Now, the idea is that once we have calculated the similarity, then we will be able to recommend the movie. So now we will create a function to find the similarity score of all movies compared to the input movie. And then we will sort them to highest similar movie first and get the list from the second until the desired number of recommended movies. All right, so this is how I have created my title indices because ultimately, we have to find out which movies are similar. So the titles are important along with the indexes. So Dick Johnson's Dead is my first movie, and in Python, indexing or numbering generally starts from 0. Bloodwater, Ganglands, Jailbirds, and as we move on, Zuban is the last, movie which has the index value 8,806. Getting my point? So now a particular function has been created with the name get underscore recommendation, in which we would be passing the title, the cosine similarity, and the number of recommended items that we want to pass. All right. So this is how it finds out the indices, sorts the movie based on similarity scores, get the scores of 10 most similar movies, get the movie indices, and returns them. So to give you an example, over here, I've tried to find out the power ranges 0. And if I have given the number of recommendation as 5, so it gives me that based on the attributes, these are the 5 movies which are similar. And if I want to change it and then run it for 10 recommendations, that can also be done. Getting my point? Yeah. So for this Zoom, again, I have done it for 5 recommendation. And for Zuban, it gives me, if I pass my, variable as 10, I get these 10 recommended items. Clear? Are you able to understand it practically, how the movies are getting recommended? And Python, do you understand the beauty of Python language? How beautifully in simple lines of codes we are able to achieve this task. If we talk about other languages, it might take thousands lines of code, but the beauty of Python is very, very nice that we are able to do it. Clear? Is this point getting clear? We will not get into certain mathematical intuition behind it, but I've given you an idea about it, how the similarity score gets calculated. That's the formula. And by default, we are using the linear dot kernel function to calculate the cosine similarity. Clear?
Yeah.
As I've already told that some learners might feel difficulty in understanding the code because they might be seeing Python for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe if you understand this on a top level, it is still enough. Because that was the agenda of this session. Obviously, this is a part of the Microsoft AI Engineer program, and this is a capstone project there. And you will be spending, much longer time actually building this. Yeah, Mallika, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Now let's understand collaborative filtering. This technique represents our in the second example of collaborative filtering, where we would be using the user's item matrix creating, and then based on the user's preference, we will be getting the output, right? In this case, again, I've used a movie lens small latest data set. All these links are provided into the file, all right? They all are available. You'll be easily able to download them and run the code very, very successfully, right? So let's understand the code. So we have understood what is the first step that Python helps us to do, that by importing the relevant libraries. So NumPy, Pandas, SciPy, sklearn, Matplotlib, Seaborn. Matplotlib and Seaborn are both data visualization library, and NumPy and Pandas are both used for data manipulation, and SciPy and sklearn are specific libraries used in machine learning. So it's a step-by-step learning. So to give you an idea, one should always begin with, what basics of Python is, then move on to the data analysis. And then we learn about advanced libraries such as NumPy and Pandas. That's covered in data science course along with the statistical concepts. We understand feed data feature engineering and, manipulation. Once we get this very strong foundation, then only we deep dive into the concepts of machine learning and deep learning, right? So the second step that we move along with is that loading the data set. So we have loaded the movies.csv data set, and as we can see over here, in this particular data set, we have the movie ID, the title of the movie along with the year, and the genres associated. So Toy Story is adventure, animation, children, comedy, fantasy. Jumanji is adventure, children, and fantasy, and so on. So I've tried to take an, real-time Netflix example so we can get the idea, actually practically how things are working over here. And in collaborative filtering, we have another, .csv file that's rating, in which we get the user ID, the movie ID. What is the rating that each user has given along with its timestamp? So we have two different CSV files over here, as we can see. We have the movies.csv files, which gives details about the movie ID. And now we have the ratings.csv. But the idea, the whole concept of recommendation system evolves around the rating matrix. That is, we have to find out the relationship between the movie ID and user ID. That's the idea of collaborative filtering. All right. So over here, I have used this pivot function, which summarizes the data of user ID and movie ID. I hope this point is getting clear to everyone. Now, do you see practically, if we talk about recommending movies in real time, do we recommend or do we rate every movie that we watch practically? Do we actually rate every movie between 1 to 5? Do we all rate every movie? No. So the practical scenario, that's why I've shown you this real-time data, that this is such a sparse matrix. What do we mean by sparse matrix? That the user one has only like movie ID one. Then it is the fifth user who is like, and other datas are all NaN. In Python, they stands for not a number or represents null value. And since computer algorithms do not understand them, we will fill these null values with 0. So it makes the data more clear to us. Are we clear to till this particular point? Are we understanding that how are we dealing with this final data set? That we have to convert those NaN null values to 0 values. Getting my point, learners? Are you all there? All right. Now, another, issue that we have not used any function to convert, but we have just used this fill now function that will fill the null values with 0. We are simply using fill now function, no own functions to create, but already default functions available to us for data manipulation in Pandas library, and we directly use them here. Got my point? Now moving ahead to another important point, as I told you that the ratings are very, very sparse and the data points are mainly collected from, noise top rated movie. What do we mean by noise? That some of the data is missing or we do not give the correct value. Right? So we wouldn't want movies rated by few users because it's not credible enough, because practically we are not rating every movie. So similarly, users who have rated only a handful of films should not be considered. Don't you think they should be a criteria? Only the learners or the users who are, rating all the movies, they should only be considered, right? So considering all that and some trial error experimentation, we'll try to reduce the noise by adding filters to the final data set. And the most important, the criteria is completely dependent on us. And over here, I'm using the criteria to qualify for a movie that minimum 10 users should hoist a film and the user should have voted for at least 50 movies to qualify for a user. It's not that you've rated just 2, 3 movies, then you become a user. No, if you are a genuine user and you are giving ratings, then only we would do the things. All right. So over here, we have done a group by function. We are trying to find out no user voted and no number of users who have voted and the number of movies that we have voted. So just to give you an idea, I've also shown you the graphs, Python supports data visualization, right? And as I've already told you, it is the Matplotlib library and the Seaborn library, which helps us to, do that. So we have created a scatter plot for the number of users voted and the number of voted users, right? Is this my point getting clear? Right? And I have also given another graph to show you scatter plot, which shows the number of movies voted along with their IDs, right? So how beautiful this particular language is. Just by writing, these many codes, you are able to get insights from the data. Getting my point? Right? So now this is my final data set or my user item rating based on filtration, right? That the number of movies voted is greater than 50. Only that data is coming into my matrix. Clear? Right? Then again, to calculate, to reduce the sparsity in the matrix, we are going to use the CSR matrix function in which we will remove the sparsity. Then, as we have understood very clearly now, that now it is important to compute the similarity between the users and the item. So in content based filtering, we use the cosine function. Here also we would be using the metric cosine, but using the KNN model. KNN model refers to K nearest neighbors model, which works on the principle that, the more the neighbors are like you know, whatever you like, you are around those like people. So the CSR matrix is referring to reduce the sparsity in the matrix, the number of zeros. It reduces that sparsity. Got my point? Right? So this is how, I've tried to incorporate that nearest neighbor. This is a machine learning, algorithm or a model which we have created by passing parameters such as metric equal to cosine. Algorithm is brute. Number of neighbors considered over here is 20 and number of jobs equal to -1. And then we fit this particular data. Clear? And once now we have found out the similarity, what is the next step? Now we would want the movies to be recommended based on similar users. The idea is again recommending the movie, but now the criteria is different in collaborative filtering, that based on similar users which are being watched. So first, I would like to say that get underscore movie recommendation I would like to see for Iron Man. And here I get my 10 movies recommendation. The distance is telling me the similarity, the cosine similarity or the distance metric. And at this, I have arranged it in their descending order. Clear? Jobs equal to -1 refers to that they can be, work on parallel processes also. Yeah.
Right.
Are we all getting this particular point? Similarly, I can also get a movie recommendation from Memento, and this is how we get the result. Clear?
Okay, Sanya actually has a very interesting question to that recommendation list you showed.
Sure.
So, now shouldn't Iron Man 2 be first on the list? I mean, technically, because it's like a sequel, shouldn't that happen? I mean, it's just probably a random question, but
Yeah.
how do you
Yeah,
think that?
yeah. It's see,
Yeah.
basically now it's ultimately, the data and the K nearest neighbors model.
Mm.
It's not that, when we are doing modeling or when we are doing thing, we always get those perfect 100% results.
Mhm.
Ultimately, it's a machine. There
Mm.
are errors associated with it, but based
Mm.
on the algorithm that we have given, based on the statistics, mathematics that we are working around with it, so up is the one which is coming out to be more similar. That's why
Mm.
you see the distance over here is stronger as compared to Iron Man
And
2.
two, yeah,
Right, right. So
got it.
that's the reason. That's the
Yes.
reason.
All right, got it, got it, got it. Um, yeah, so another question that we had with regards to similarity. So why is cosine similarity used here and not any other type?
Yeah, because see, there are other ones like Pearson's R correlation. That's a very basic statistical method. Cosine similarity is a much better tool as compared to cosine, and the k nearest neighbors are even giving better results. See, out over here, when we are talking about machine learning or data, there is always improvement or data is random. It keeps on changing. First point that needs to be kept into mind. If they would have been, one formula put into the machine and we always get perfect answers, I think so the problems would have already been solved. So it's a
Yeah,
constant juggling between the data, the variability in the data which is constantly changing, and the improvement in the algorithms, right? So
right.
why do you think, of course there is more deeper insight to recommender systems over here. We, as one of the learners also asked that what about, if the ratings are missing? Of course we have matrix factorization methods, single value decomposition, which is which is out of scope at the moment. I don't want to come, do it. But there are deeper methods which give much better results, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Got it. Got it. So another a learner had a question. Does YouTube also use KNN? Or what does it use?
The YouTube, we cannot be very particular about it uses KNN or not, but recommendation. Now the algorithms actually keep on getting updated. It's definitely a hybrid approach. And what all they are using, that's completely, YouTube to it. At the end of the day, everybody is using the same concepts. Maybe, not KNN, even better algorithms than KNN also can be used.
Amazing. Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay. A lot of questions coming in on the Q&A box. One more question we have. Why is the distance increasing for the more highly recommended ratings? Shouldn't it be the other way around, or how does that work? You showed in the recommendations.
Yeah, so the higher the similarity, the distance term is confusing them. Higher the
Yeah,
similarity, the more the distance it is.
right.
It should be inverse, but that's how it is. It's
Got
actually the higher the similarity, the more the distance or the
it. Right.
closer they are. Yeah,
Okay, so that's why. Okay,
yeah.
got it. So that's why the confusion, but it's actually the other way around.
It's the other way around. Yeah.
Got it, got it. And another question here is, if we try with a different similarity, then will the result be different as well?
Of course, of course.
Okay.
Of
Got it,
course. That's
got
that is where the whole research goes is, what kind of metric is suiting,
it.
depending on the type of data you're using, which algorithm will go into it. So
Hmm. Hmm.
that's where the whole analysis and, AI engineers, machine learning engineers get involved.
Got it. Got it. Understood. Understood. And yeah, I think so that answers your question. So a couple of learners had, question related to learning the formulas, so is it compulsory to learn the algorithm formulas, how they work, like say how linear regression works, or just understand them and implement using Python is enough?
Yeah, conceptually, you need to understand it, not much into mathematical depth. I always recommend my learners that there are 3 points if you want to approach AI or become a good machine learning or enter the world of data science. First is the concept. Second is the implementation. Python
Hmm.
is now the most hit language. We want to see the implementation. And third thing is, are we able to interpret the results that we are getting out of those values? So always, I think so. If you're focused from these 3 points of view, then we understand all the points well, and we are able to become good data scientists and machine learning engineers.
Nice, nice. So since you mentioned Python and another learner had this question,
Mm-hmm.
so he is able to understand the code on a top level, whatever you showed now, but he has some learning gaps, right? So
Mm-hmm.
is it okay if he probably uses ChatGPT plus and then build his own model or whatever? Or is it really important for him to learn Python to stay current or make sure then that they eventually find a job or a role? Is it required, or how does one navigate that?
No, see, Chat GPT or they are going to be now plethora of, tools available to us. We are now going to live in the Gen AI world. Now
Hmm.
it depends on us. So something if we are getting as output, but we don't know exact meaning of it, does it make any sense? Does it make any sense to us? And we don't know whether the output is coming from a machine or Chat GPT is correct or not. How do
Yeah,
we judge that? So
yeah,
unless and
yeah.
until we are not strong conceptually,
Hmm. Hmm.
concepts, unless and until the basics and concepts are clear, then you have a very strong foundation, right, Arpana?
Right.
Then nobody can move us or any language is there. If we know the concept, okay, this is the algorithm, this is the concept, then even if the language changes, let me be very clear and blunt over here that if tomorrow Python is also not the language, but the concept
Hmm.
will not change, the algorithm will remain the same. So implementing it in any other language also becomes easier and
Right.
understanding.
Right. Got it. Got it. All right. All right. And I know the answer is yes, but I want you to answer it. So how important is learning math behind all of these? So you might have seen learners, in the classes that you take as well. So
Yeah.
How important is someone to have maths, statistics background?
Not really, not really. I would not say that, you have to be very, very strong in maths. There's generally a lot of fear behind it, when I start taking the session.
Mhm.
Again, I'll just say that it's more about statistics, more of statistics concepts, right? And we don't go into the depth of the formula or other things. The idea is, again, I'm repeating, reiterating myself, the concept, the fundamental concept that, okay, this is how it works. The second most important thing is how do we implement in Python and interpreting the results. We're not going to solve mathematics over here. So mathematics, even if you're not from that background, I think so people can easily cope up.
Right. Got it. Got it. Got it. So I think we're getting a lot of questions on transition. So Malika, I would just like to take the screen sharing back
Yeah.
from you, and maybe we can just help them understand how the course really helps and how they can build, a similar recommendation system. So before we get there, are you guys now clear, or at least, slightly clear on how this works? And maybe you have some fair understanding on why you're getting the list of movies that you are. Yeah, just let us know. Yeah, a thumbs up or a reaction would also help. Yes, yes. Vivek, we answered that question. So the higher the distance, the more relevant it is. That's what she mentioned. Yes. Okay. Okay. That's great. That's great. Sanya, glad that found it useful. Amazing. Nice. Nice. So remember what I said in the beginning, this is something that you are going to be doing as a part of the course. And this is actually a capstone project, right? So a lot of learners were asking us these questions about, how can I do this, and how can I really learn this? What will I need to learn this? So we're just going to get there. And some of the learners also were asking about recommendations for a good course on learning Python and becoming an AI or a machine learning engineer, right? So that is where this Microsoft AI Engineer program actually helps. So what Mallika mentioned in the beginning about learning the fundamentals, the course actually helps you with that, not just with mastering all the key concepts such as machine learning or deep learning. We also help you understand basics of Python, how you can use Python and how you can use Gen AI in Python, and then how machine learning with Python happens, and then you're learning deep learning, and then you are, getting to this certification, which is the AI 900. And there's also a module that teaches you specifically on helping you understand Microsoft Copilot, right? So remember what I said about the capstone project. So this is the capstone project that we picked to just show you guys how the recommendation system works. There are also other capstone projects apart from what you see here on the list. So the more that you will find on the course page, which I will share, in some time. So apart from this, you also get, a masterclass on how agentic AI solutions are built with the help of Copilot, right? So that's also an elective module that happens. Yes, and of course, you get a certificate from Microsoft, a joint certificate from Microsoft and Simplilearn. Yeah. So how this course really helps you is not just with the knowledge that you gain, you are actually applying this knowledge, and you're making sure you are putting yourself through these use cases that you may use when you eventually become a machine learning or an AI engineer. Right? So that's how the course prepares you. And of course, it prepares you for what's latest in the industry rather than giving you outdated information there. Right. So we've got amazing trainers like Mallika in the course, and all of the learning materials and the live classes happen through a learning environment. So you get access to an LMS, your own account, where you can access live sessions, where you can access also the recorded content if you miss the live session, also some self-learning content. And of course, you also get a dedicated cohort manager to whom you can ask your queries, whether they're related to your progress, in the course or anything else associated with access, all of that is possible, right? And another feature that we're also very proud of is career support. So we offer career support in the sense that we help you refine your profile, make sure that it's closer to the job roles that you want to pick up. We do that with AI power. With the help of AI, we kind of help you refine your resume, also help you with interview preparation, and with the help of your peers in the class, you're also kind of able to understand how or what the use cases in the other industries or other functions are. So this is how career support works, and this in no means is telling you that you will get a job or we're guaranteeing a certain salary. That's not what we're saying. What we help you is refining your profile, and of course making sure that you're closer to your goal in terms of both knowledge and positioning yourself. So that's how we help. Yes. And what you need to be having to become a part of this course is a bachelor's degree and some background, some knowledge in maths, but of course that's not mandatory, like what Mallika mentioned as well, right? So these are your certificates. This is how they look like, jointly offered from Microsoft and Simplilearn, and this is how the AI fundamentals, AI 900 certificate looks like. So you get a separate session as well on how you can clear the AI 900, and with the help of completing this course, you also get the Microsoft Learn badge and the Microsoft Learn portal access. Okay, this is how it works. Yeah, so I will just take you through the enrollment steps very, very quickly. Yeah, we'll just come to Q&A in a while. Remember, I said that there are a few giveaways that I planned for this session. One of them obviously is what Mallika showed. She will be sharing the link, the Jupyter link with me, and I will share that as a separate email along with the recording tomorrow, right? But a lot of you learners, because you asked this question about how you can transition to becoming a great AI engineer, what is the future of ML engineers, how do we use deep learning in healthcare, all of these questions of, how do you see data science with Gen AI? You might have these questions about how this field is picking up or how I can be a part of this field. Is this really relevant, right? So for this reason, we have built an amazing GPT that's called the Simply Mentor GPT. Okay, and this is absolutely free of cost and also available on the GPT store. So what I'm going to do right now is actually, I'll first share the link to the GPT here. Okay, and I've also limited the interactions to on the chat. So basically, yeah, exactly. Whoever has posed that question, how can I, for a beginner, what do I do, right? I'm just going to post the same question that I received on the chat. I'm sorry, I think I did it by mistake. Let me just paste the same question on the GPT. Okay. And I'm just going to let the GPT do its magic and answer the question for you. Okay. So basically, what the GPT does is just helps you understand how you specifically can come closer to your career goals. What are the learning resources that you should look at? Okay. Both in terms of our advanced courses and in terms of the free resources that we have, and of course, a roadmap as well. Okay. So this is how the GPT helps. If you think this is amazing, this is exactly what you needed, just make sure you save the link, bookmark the link, use it as your mentor. That's why it's called Simply Mentor. Make sure you do that. Okay. So I'm sure all of you learners now know what to do when you have a question to ask. Yes. Maybe a quick thumbs up or yes will help. Do you think the GPT is interesting? Yes. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, so let's say someone wants to know what should my roadmap to becoming an AI engineering be. Okay, I've not put what my background is, but let's say if it's for a beginner, what should you learn? And this includes, some free courses that we have on the Skill Up platform as well. Okay, some paid courses, week 4, week 5, week 6, all of this. Yes. What tools you should learn. Yeah. Also how you can build a custom. So anything basically on, transitioning, can be anything literally. This is why the Simply Mentor GPT will help you. Okay, right? So please make sure you save the link, you bookmark it, whatever, share it with your friends. Let your friends know about this GPT as well. Yes, great. Glad that you guys found it useful. So let's just proceed and talk about the enrollment steps, and let me help you understand the eligibility criteria once again. So all you need is some work experience. Of course, an undergrad degree is mandatory, or a diploma is also fine. A basic understanding of programming and some maths will help. But remember, the course already teaches you Python, so that should already suffice, but some understanding will definitely help. Okay, and how do you do that is you fill in an application, you make sure that you fill in all the required details. Someone from the learning advisors team will reach out to you and just see if you're eligible, and then they'll share the payment link with you. So these are the course fees. So for India learners, the course fee is close to 1 lakh, but you do have the option to pay via installments as low as 4,000, nearly 4,500 rupees a month, which is actually really affordable if you consider our financing partners. But if you live in the US, your course fee would be close to $2,000, right? Now, if you're wondering how you can do this through this webinar, right? We've just made it easier for you to talk to our learning advisors, and we want to make sure that, you gain the best out of this webinar. So what I'm just going to do is, by the way, admission actually closes really, really soon, which is why we thought we'd bring learning advisors to this webinar to help you become a part of the next cohort, help you actually take the next step and fill in your admission form, right? So just to make the process easier, what I'm going to do is launch a very quick poll on whether you are interested to enroll in the program or not. Okay. Now, before I launch the poll, I just want to make a few things clear. So when you say yes, I'm also going to launch a couple of breakout rooms. You know how breakout rooms work, right? So there are a couple of learning advisors, a few from India, the India team, and a few from the US team. If you live anywhere else in the world, just make sure you click a yes on the poll that I launch, and a learning advisor will reach out to you tomorrow. But let's say you live in these two countries, India or the US, so the learning advisor will actually help you with an instant scholarship that's exclusive for this webinar attendees, right? So make sure you join the breakout room to know what your scholarship percentage is. So that's how this is going to work. Yeah. And remember, please do not join any other room. If you live in India, you are joining the room that says IN. If you're in the US, you're joining a room that says US. Okay. So firstly, just make sure you click a yes on the poll that I'm about to launch if you are interested to be a part of the upcoming cohort. The first induction class starts literally next week, which is 26th of June. Okay. And what I'm going to do is also open these rooms so that our learning advisors can help you with the scholarship. Okay. So that's how this is going to work. Now, if you live anywhere else in the world apart from India and US, if you've clicked a yes, someone will reach out to you tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. Of course, if you have questions to ask, they may be able to help you. But with your enrollment, just wait around for a few more hours. Yeah. Okay. Great. So with this, I'm just going to again switch back to some questions, and I'm just going to leave the poll live for you learners to understand. Yeah, of course, you guys might want to take a look at, the entire course before you make that decision. So I'm just going to share the link here on the chat Great, Keshi. Nice to see that you've already enrolled. A few other people who are expressing interest. Amazing. Good to see that. So I've shared the link to the course page. You can actually download the brochure, check out all the info there, and in fact, uh, also reach out to Learning Advisor. But the easier step, like I said, is to actually reach out to people here in this session. So make sure you join the room that's relevant to you. Okay. Cool. So let me just proceed and see if there are more questions. Oh yeah, the duration of the course is mentioned here. Dikshit, it's mentioned here. It's about 6 plus 3, 9 months long. About 9 months. Keshi, if you are enrolled in the Purdue course or whatever course you are, it is a part of the electives again. The generative AI courses have agentic AI as a module separately, but otherwise it's a part of the electives. Great to know, Samantha, that you're already a part of the AI Engineer Masters course. But yeah, would love to see you in this as well. Great. Great. Okay. Okay, let me see if we have more questions for Mallika here. People who are asking questions about career transition, I'm conveniently going to say, please use Simply Mentor GPT to get those questions answered, right? Mallika, there's just one very interesting question if you would want to take. So Jasna has this question who says, is it okay to define machine as artificial and learning as intelligence without including the occurrence and occasion, where machine is artificial, which equals occurrence of data, and learning means intelligence, which is equivalent to occasion. Hence, the acceptability of data and logical system infrastructure. Okay, I didn't understand that question. So I think her point is to define machine as learning. Okay, artificial intelligence and machine learning. Can these terms be used interchangeably? I think that's her question.
Okay, machine learning and artificial intelligence. Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
confusion among this very, very common question which keeps popping up every time, you know. So if we talk about technically, AI is the more broader term, which is the bigger umbrella under which we have machine learning, in which we involve the statistics part of it, algorithms part of it, and under machine learning we have deep learning that's
Mm,
based on artificial neural network, where the today's technology is completely based on. And under the subset has also changed now. From under deep learning, now we have the LLMs or the Gen AI model. So that's the new trend that we have. AI, under AI we have machine learning, under machine learning we have deep learning, as I said, and under deep learning we have the new LLMs and the Gen AI models, right?
right.
I hope I'm able to answer the question.
Right. Okay. Hope this is answered. And okay, so one question again related to career, but maybe you could take this. So maybe a computer science major in college, would that help, to be probably just set that foundation for becoming an AI engineer?
Of course,
Yeah,
of
right.
course, yes.
Yeah,
Very
okay.
good. In fact, it's not that about computer. See, computer science engineers always have an advantage over other engineers. But, I have taken up, people even from the pharmacy background who are trying to learn, because, that's everybody wants to learn this, especially people coming from medical backgrounds are wanting to learn it. So definitely, if they are able to do it, computer science people definitely have an edge over others.
Right. Got it. Got it. Got it. Let's see. Yeah, since you mentioned healthcare, we also have a question on healthcare. So how can we use deep learning in healthcare? We actually had that slide a while back. I skipped that, but if you can just mention some use cases.
Oh, there are many. Oh, there are many. I mean, everywhere where you are using it, along with, healthcare, if I talk about even the operation, the robotic surgery has taken into the place. That's with precision, that the cutting and the stitching has become very, very precise. If we talk about, analysis of the X-ray reports, MRI scans, we have intelligent machines which are capable of finding even the minutest thing, which normal our eye is not capable of doing.
Mhm.
So I mean, there is every domain, if you ask, it is being used now. There is no vertical now left in which it is not being used.
Right, right. And one very interesting question from Ram Kishan that we got is, how does Gen AI come into picture with, say, data science or with machine learning? How do you think we could have leveraged Gen AI today?
See, Gen AI is generative AI. Now, everybody is talking about that's the buzz around us. What does generative AI mean? Generative AI mean when it's something like Chat GPT. I give it a few inputs, few words, like as we are trying to how I'm going to transition my career into, data science. So that's the certain input. Based on those inputs, the machine is capable of generating you the output that you will be able to, so it's able to connect those words, so those words becomes your prompt engineering, and logically using other technical things such as LLM model transformation, attention. There are a lot of technical things which get involved, so you get that output which actually suggests to you the correct thing. And it is not only text. The Gen AI has moved on to videos, audios. You say to the machine, the video can also get corrected. Images it can generate images for you. So that's the
Mhm.
advancement that we are moving on to it, where we talk about NLP, computer vision, that are very, very strong aspects of AI.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Got it. Got it. So also, how is then agentic AI different from Gen AI? That question as well.
See, agentic AI is more about the agents that we are trying to, deploy and, extract information. So, see, at the end of the day, the data is data, and
Mm.
data has now moved from structured to unstructured. Now, technically, what does that mean? That earlier it was in tabular form, Excel forms, and SQL form, that's the traditional form of it. But when I talk about today's data, it is completely unstructured. What does that mean? It is in the form of text, images, even log files. So to extract that kind of information, the depth is, increasing, and the different tools are being enhanced. So agentic AI is one of the tools which helps in that.
Got it. Got it. And also, one one question that we had is, how do we deploy whatever you showed on Jupyter? How do we deploy that publicly? How does that happen?
Deploy publicly? I don't get that question.
So basic, I think they're wanting to understand how does this happen in, say, real time in an actual situation where we've built a recommendation system. How do we now deploy it? How do we make sure that it's kind of in function and in operation?
Okay. So basically, if I talk about deployment, so it's not only one person. That's the logic behind the, YouTube or Netflix, which is
Right,
working it, right?
right,
So the
right.
whole process is a big process where we have the apps to upload it on the website. So that involves ML ops, DevOps. It's a big process. So this was just to one part of it where the processing or the logic is associated for that particular system which works on that.
Right. Got it. Got it. Got it. Understood. Okay. You have a question again, Malika, for you specifically. This is not related to what we discussed in the session, but
Mhm.
who is your inspiration? Malika ma'am is the question that Sanya has for you.
All right. So if I talk about, the inspiration is, my passion, my interest. And, I have, as I always tell in my own sessions, that it is my interaction with the student, and the urge to constant learn and keep myself updated about new technologies.
Hmm.
So that's where the whole key and the crux lies.
I think yes, absolutely. So we'll just take last couple of questions before we wrap the session up. And people who are still uh, figuring out how they can talk to the learning advisors, just join one of these rooms. If you live in India, then IN room. If you live in the US room. Or if you don't want to make that decision now, just click a yes on the poll and you can still be reached out to a learning advisor later. Okay, there's no pressure. Yeah, so another question which might sound silly, no, you can still ask questions regarding recommendation system, how it will get to know which person did rating or liked the movie. According to me, it might be because of account login.
Of
Um,
course.
yeah, of course, it's the account log
ID.
ID.
Everybody
Mm,
has a unique ID. That is
yeah,
why it will keep on asking if the ID is not matching. So it's the ID. Every user has a unique ID, and
yeah.
based on that, it does
Absolutely.
that. Yeah.
Great, great, great. And one question that we always get in all the webinars, and this is an AI webinar, so we should take this. What is the possibility of replacing, I mean, AI replacing real jobs? What is your take? I've asked multiple speakers and they've given us probably the same answer, maybe your take as well. Interested to know.
So yeah, even I can see the question also, what AI cannot do, what humans can do in terms of processing. So
Yeah.
I think so. This question has been answered pretty well. Creativity, conceptual knowledge, and
Mhm.
emotional thinking, and the right kind of approach will never be achieved by machines. The day it is achieved by machines, AI. We are at big risk. If you've heard
Mhm.
about the saying what Stephen Hawking said, that once we reach that particular stage, where
Mhm.
machines are more capable of us, you know
Mhm.
uh, and they are more capable of taking decisions,
Mhm.
then it's a wrong signal for us. So the time they are under our rules, they are able to give answers and help us in that. Till that,
Mhm.
everything goes fine. We all are, and they will be a support system for us. That it's not going to be hard work now, it's going to be smart work now.
Yeah, yeah. Malika, you've got a couple of more questions on how you started your journey. Maybe just a quick one is to advise, just for beginners, maybe you could advise them on how they can get
Yeah,
started.
yeah,
Maybe you
yeah.
can share your journey as well.
Sure, I can do that, Aparna. So it's as I mentioned it initially.
Mhm.
So I started, my work in Excel, and from Excel it went on to Python. So Python became the hardcore of all things. And with Python, as I used, I mentioned about the libraries, that NumPy, Pandas, data visualization. So what all that was done on Excel, that made my life much more easier with the help of Python. And of course, the journey began, the interest developed, and then moving on to machine learning, deep learning, and it still goes on till now, to understand the new agentic AI, the RAG, and the Gen AI. So it's a continuing journey, but yeah,
Mhm.
initially you have to start with Python.
Got it. Understood. Right. I think pretty much done with questions here. Guys, looking for recorded version of the session and the Jupyter link that Malika shared, we'll get that. You'll get that tomorrow, by end of tomorrow. Same time, you should be able to receive it. Make sure you're subscribed to Simplilearn webinars, the email ID, because a lot of you forget that you've spammed us or have unsubscribed, and hence you don't receive our email. So make sure you are actually subscribed, because without that, even if we send an email, you might not receive it. Okay. What I'm also going to do is to just drop this email ID in case you don't receive it by the same time tomorrow. Please drop an email to this email ID there. Okay. And people answering on the poll, great. We've got 50 people close to, have expressed interest in the program, which is amazing. I hope you guys are having conversations with the learning advisors. I'm just going to end this poll right here. And what I'm going to do is to launch a very quick poll asking your names. So remember you said, I said that you'd get the certificate as well. So this is how the certificate would look like. And by the way, yeah, basically those slides were for me. You would receive the data set and the certificate as a giveaway. I promise that, right? So you will receive that tomorrow. And of course, the scholarship is exclusive to webinar attendees. I know I didn't say that here or mention that while I was shifting slides, but it's still valid. Okay, yeah. So you guys, if you need a certificate that looks like this, please make sure you fill in your names in the poll that I've launched. Make sure you fill in only your names and nothing else. You can actually also tag Mallika on LinkedIn and let her know how you found the session. Be great if you can do that. Yeah. Okay, the poll is launched on Zoom. Please use the Zoom app. Close to 100 people have already entered their answers. So, Shireen, it is definitely working. Yeah. All right. So I'll just leave the poll live for another 5 minutes and then we'll wrap up the session. It's great bringing this session to you. Yeah, please join from the app. Otherwise, you won't be able to see the poll. Yeah. And the latest version of the app. That's how you'll be able to use all the features. Yes. So I was saying that it was great bringing this session to you. I hope you got some understanding of how these recommendation systems are built, some understanding of the use cases. Yes, I'm going to wait for exactly 5 minutes. Some understanding of what machine learning engineers really do. Yes, so I hope you got that. And another thing that I would like to request you to do is if you're going to leave the session, maybe you should also fill out a quick survey that we've launched at the end. Please fill in that. Or you can also let us know your thoughts here on the chat. Maybe something that you would like us to cover next. Yeah. Just let us know on the chat. Great. Okay, let me open up the chat. Yes, sorry. Now you should be able to send in your messages to everyone. Let us know what you would like us to cover next. You saw how movie recommendations work. What would you like to see next? Please let us know in the chat. And you will get it tomorrow. Like I said, poll is on Zoom. You will be able to see the poll. People on YouTube, please make sure you click on the course description to enroll, become a part of the course, right? Unfortunately, no poll on YouTube, but for people on Zoom, the poll is definitely working. 111 exactly is the count of people who have entered their entries. Ashin, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, remember I shared the link to Simply Mentor. You should definitely make use of that. Okay, I think by now I have really answered this question at least 100 times. So I'm just going to repeat myself and say, yes, you're going to receive the recording, the Jupyter link, the certificate, everything tomorrow. Okay. And here's the link to the Simply Mentor GPT as well. Thank you for the comment there. Let me see if we can do that. Session can get a little technical if there's people don't have the background. So, yeah. Certificate poll is still live, Shireen. It's not gone anywhere. It's still there. You know what I said you can do. Maybe you can email me and then we'll see. Okay. Thank you, Jasna, for your time. Thank you, everyone else, for joining in. We're just going to wrap up the session in the next couple of minutes. Yeah, great. Great to see all of you here. Thank you. Great. if you've got any final questions, let me see. Yes, you can leave the class if you've entered your name on the poll, and everything else should be good to go. The poll is still live, guys. So yeah. No, we didn't discuss anything new. I'm just waiting for people to finish their poll so that we can end the session, Rahul. So it was just that. And we just answered a few last minute questions with Mallika. Yeah. She was just sharing about her journey, but don't worry, you will be receiving the recording. Mallika, just to confirm, you can also, maybe convey this to the learners that maybe Mallika will actually share the link with me and then I will relay that. Make sure it's reaching you. Yeah. So Mallika, maybe you can share the link to, the Jupyter link with me and then we can share it with the learners tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. Amazing. Great, great, great. Shireen, if you have already entered your name, you don't have to worry. I won't be able to see your entry now. I will be only able to see it after the end of the session. Okay. Shireen, what I'm going to do is just going to give you my email ID. Please drop an email. Yeah. Thank you, everyone else. It was great joining. I'm actually waiting for people to get done in the breakout rooms. If you have got nothing else, you've not got queries regarding the course, you can actually leave. But I do recommend you guys to actually check out the course and see how you can also build a recommendation system. Not just this, do a lot more with AI and machine learning. It was great bringing this session, but you should definitely consider being a part of our next cohort and also see Mallika there, hopefully. Okay, great. The poll is still live, Shalini. Yeah. All right. Great. Great. Cool. I think, we're pretty much done. Let me just quickly see if our breakout rooms are done as well. I'll just be on mute for a while and then, we'll wrap the session up.
certificate poll. Mhm.
Hey everyone. So we've actually closed the room that belonged to the Indian Learning Advisors. So in case you are still, looking to enroll, I've shared the link to the course page. Please make sure you reach out to a learning advisor through the page. We've also kept the poll for the certificates live, so you can actually do that as well. Enter your name so that you receive the certificate. Uh, Someone from the US team, I mean, US learners actually has, expressed interest and they're still trying to enroll. So we're just going to keep the breakout room live for the US learners to still join and get their queries answered. But otherwise, if, there's nothing else, you can actually exit the session. There's absolutely no problem. Yeah. Right. So with this, I think we've also finished answering all the questions for our US learners. So like I said, let me just quickly share the link to our course page for you guys to take a look at it later. Here you go. That's the link to the course. In case you're still interested, please make sure you reach out, drop a query to our learning advisors there. Yeah. So I'll see you guys again in another session. It was great hosting this session for you all. And in case, like I said, you do have questions for me, webinars@simplilearn.net is the email ID. I look forward to seeing you in another session or also sometime in the next cohort. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.